He was in a position to fire all of the DOJ lawyers, 300 of them, that had hounded him out. He did not do that.
There's a question often asked, and that is Donald Trump considering revenge against his political adversaries?
Basically, is he going to do what they did to him? He's not going to go after everybody. Of course he's not. He's not going to go after everybody. At the end of the day, he's a good guy. They keep trying to give him this image that he's a tyrant. He was already the president. How many people did he go after when he was the president of the United States? He didn't.
Obama did that. Biden did that. He did not do that. Obama weaponized the IRS against his, and Trump did not do that. Trump did not indict. He's not going to have local or state prosecutors work as surrogates to go after the Biden family. In fact, I would imagine he might even pardon Hunter Biden. He's a transactional kind of art of the deal. So with the Europeans and NATO, he talks a tough game, and then he gets them to reluctantly spend $100 billion on arms, and then all of a sudden the Ukraine war during the Biden administration breaks out, and they're much better, because of Trump, they're in a much better position to defend themselves. Of course, they don't give him any credit. So he talks certain ways, but he's been actually criticized on the right for not being more vindictive and for not playing tit for tat.
Donald Trump's return to the presidency is marked by a seasoned approach shaped by his first term's experiences. With a deeper understanding of the political machinery, Trump is poised to lead with greater efficiency. His administration now boasts a team of loyalists well-versed in his vision, potentially smoothing over the frictions that once bogged down policy execution. This time around, Trump's familiarity with the office, coupled with a hand-picked team, suggests a strategy that is more refined and possibly more effective in pushing through his legislative and executive priorities, aiming to fulfill the promises that might have been delayed or diluted during his initial tenure.
We put people in that were great, and we put people in that weren't. I now know Washington probably better than anybody. I know the good ones and the bad ones, and we will have really great, strong people. I already know who they are, but we will have really great, strong people.
He doesn't see that as radical. He sees it as he's called it common sense. He's taken the example of Mexico. Mexico sent, by deliberation, 12 million illegals here. We have 350,000 people with criminal records that were knowingly let in from Latin America and Mexico. They've committed horrendous crimes. We have the cartels that have killed indirectly, but by design, in a way, by masking fentanyl with prescription drugs and candy even, 100,000 Americans. And Biden was so afraid to say anything to Mexico. The first thing Trump said, and he even said it before the election, I'm going to call the president of Mexico up and I'm going to say no more fentanyl and no more illegal immigration. I'm going to slap a 25% tariff on you, and I'm going to probably tax your remittances. You get 60 billion, we'll see how you like it.
The discussion touches on current issues like the economy and immigration, portraying Trump as someone who can decisively address these challenges. Victor Davis Hanson emphasizes Trump's straightforward approach to governance with the left's preference for nuanced and incremental solutions, framing him as a decisive leader.
And he's serious about that. He's not trying to bully people, but he does things like that. So if you have a international incident where Australia is in a very vulnerable to take your country, and they feel that they need the support and encouragement of the United States, he's not going, if he believes that if he were to agree with you, he's not going to call up and say, well, on the one hand, on the other hand, he would say, what do you need? When do you need it? And I'll do it. And that's the type of ally he is. He's not wishy-washy. And that's what bothers the left. They think in nuances or in gradations and incrementalism. And he's not that. For better or worse, he's very decisive. He's not reckless, but he's very decisive, and he moves very decisively with China, with Russia, with the radical Islamic world. And if you think what he said he was going to do in 2015, he said he was going to get rid of ISIS. In fact, he used the vulgarity.
Somebody criticized me the other day because they asked me what I'd do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true. I don't care. I don't care.
He said he was going to deal with the Iranians who had killed Americans in Iraq. That was Soleimani. He said that he was going to cut off Iran and bankrupt them. He almost did. He would have if they hadn't uplifted the sanctions. All of those things he did.
Trump has always put his money where his mouth is, sticking to his word on what he plans to do.
I was talking to some Israelis, diplomats, and they said, we've had so many sophisticated people who knew the Middle East, and we've asked them for support, and they always give us 1,000 reasons why they couldn't do it. And as this diplomat spoke to me, he said he did more for Israel that needed to be done, not just because he liked Israel, but were fair and were for the greater good of the Middle East. He did more in 2 months than the last 50 years of American presidency. And he said the odd thing about it was he probably was not as sophisticated or as well read in the intricacies and the nuances of Middle East history and diplomacy, but he had an innate cunning and sense of morality, what had to be done and why it wasn't done.
Trump's tenure saw significant shifts in Middle Eastern diplomacy, most notably through the Abraham Accords, where he facilitated normalization agreements between Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco, marking a historic step towards regional peace and cooperation against the backdrop of previous hostilities. He also moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and took a hard stance against Iran, including withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal and the targeted killing of Qasem Soleimani.
I think it's an exciting time. We'll see if he gets good people around him. One of the problems that when you talk to people surrounding him, in 2016, no one wanted to work for him, the maverick, the outsider. 2020, it was sort of, he had a team. Now, they're getting 6 and 7 applications for even minor positions. Everybody wants to work for Donald Trump, and I don't know if he's going to be able to filter out.
He doesn't want to be secretary. He wants to be a man that can cut costs, have you live even better. You're not going to be affected. But I think he said $2 trillion.
Specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party.
And it was inconceivable to me that I would ever leave the Democratic Party. But I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me.
Suddenly, the thing in Washington is all of these never Trump. Anybody wants to be part of this team. They're very excited. And they're going to have a terrible time trying to find people who will not do what happened last time with the anonymous, the person in Homeland Security that was bragging to the New York Times that he was sort of an insurrectionist and derailing executive orders, or people in the Defense Department that were overriding Trump's orders. He's got to get a team that is loyal, but he's got so many people that want to participate.
Thanks for watching. Now, just for fun, if you could have held a role in the Trump administration, which position would you have hypothetically aimed for, given your skills and love for the USA?